So what stood out about this week's lesson? What stood out for me the most was that I've been dealing with my fears, my barriers, my invisible scripts, and not calling them out, not testing whether they were factually true or not. For example, I have this fear that if I apply for a job, if I get a great job, it's going to mean I have to move. And I think that's literally kept me from pursuing this. And yet, I actually know someone who's gotten a fantastic job with a company in another city and hasn't had to move. And in the interview with Julie, the top performer, she was working in the New York finance industry and yet living in the San Francisco Bay Area. So that is not a valid barrier. That's something I've learned. Thank you for that. How has this material helped change my perspective on finding a dream job? I knew I wanted to find a dream job, but what was missing was the system. Yeah, I was going to talk to some friends, I was going to apply to some companies maybe I hadn't applied to before, and that's good, but knowing that there is a process and a system is a huge advantage, and that makes all the difference for me. Another one of my concerns is getting caught up in the momentum of the job search and ending up in a job maybe I didn't really want and having to move to a place I don't really want to move to. That's happened to me, and knowing that the system will help me identify what I want beforehand and then help me get there makes all the difference. So what was I doing wrong before? What I was doing wrong before was nothing. I was doing a whole lot of nothing. I have had growth in my current job, but for the past 2 years there hasn't been much of it. And this is again where the interview with the top performer, Julie, comes in, and it really clicked for me. I loved her impatience with herself, that after she was in the role for a little over a year, even though she was 6 months away from a huge bonus, when she realized she wasn't learning and growing in the way she wanted, she was out of there. And that's what I need to cultivate in myself. How will this affect me in the long term? Well, if I were to stay somewhere for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, knowing that it's not right, knowing that I'm not learning and growing, that's totally unacceptable. And that could have easily happened before. I need to change that pattern. And that means not only changing it in my current role so that I'm a top performer, but in whatever I pursue for my dream job, I have to keep that front and center in my mind, that impatience with myself, to make sure that I'm learning, growing, and getting the rewards that come with that.